Oops. Good morning, Baldhead. What's going on? How you doing? Hey, everyone. Gray here. Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, and it's another week here on the Coffee Q&A, and it's November 13th. We're halfway through November, almost completely through 2023, and wow, life is moving fast, isn't it? Life is moving fast. Anyway, so let's get right to it. We're using today, wanted to share with you something called the Cafflano Klassic, and this is something that I picked up. When did I get this? 2015. I got this, or 2015, 2016. I think this came out maybe in 2014. Oh, no, 2015. New product show of the awards. So this came out in 2015 and premiered at the World of Coffee show in Gothenburg. It came out in, I can't really read that. What does it say here? I think that little tiny detail here says 2013. I don't know. Yeah, 2013, Gothenburg. And so new product show of the awards from 2015. And 2015, best new domestic coffee equipment. What's up, Eric? I saw your message. Glad you could finally join us. And with the time change. And great. Mom is with us. Good morning, Mom. How was your guys' weekend? Hope it was good. Hope it was really good. Okay, so I picked this up a while ago, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And I thought, we were talking about travel coffee with like the Kalita Tall, and I like that because it's really compact. This one is not as compact. It's pretty much the size of this tube. And made in South Korea. These Koreans, they're very, very like super into coffee. Like they come up with all these interesting creations. I don't know, the Japanese and the Koreans, they make a lot of like interesting coffee stuff. And this is one of the ones that I thought was cool. So what it is, it's a travel kit. Let me show you what it is. Let me show you. Dan, good morning. How are you? So this is the Cafflano Klassic. This was, I believe, if I remember correctly, this was the very first product they came out with. All-in-one pour-over coffee maker, and it has everything included. So let's open this up. As you can see, I don't really use it that often because it's all in its packaging. But honestly, I have got it's got a little bit of printing here on the front, Cafflano. Honestly, like I said, I've got a lot of gear, so it's like sometimes it's too much. All right, so this is the Cafflano Klassic. So not terribly compact, right? But not huge, right? So when I was starting out the business and traveling with my mentor, we would go to like travel places, Ethiopia or wherever we were in the world, and he had a heater kettle. He had a big old French press that was kind of this Bodum model that had these like, it was coated in not coated in plastic, but had a plastic frame or a bubble frame, so it was really well protected for travel. And then he had a big Zassenhaus grinder, and of course the coffee. And so who's the guy that's going to be grinding the coffee at 5:30 in the morning? The FNG guy, and that was me. So I would be sitting there grinding. But that was a big kit, and I was always like, oh, that's a lot to carry. I'm not so committed that I'm going to carry that much stuff. This might not be too bad. So let's have a look at it. It is everything that you need in one. Pouring kettle, grinder, pour over, filter, and even thermal drinking cup. So we take this off, and as you can see, here's the grinder. This is actually the pouring kettle. There's a little piece of coffee still from the last time we used it. At least I hope that's coffee. And this pouring kettle, so as you can see here, now that we've unscrewed it, right, you pour the water in here, and then there's a little tiny spout, so you can just control pour it. Now, as you know, it's right here at the edge, right? So you can't really pour too hard, otherwise it will flow over, but you can get a bit of a control. This also unscrews, right? This unscrews because you can cover it like this. So that's right. That will help to control, right? By doing this, you can now control it, right? Just kind of do that. All right, so there's that. And that screws in the bottom, or the top, which is actually the top, which is really kind of nice. Now, here's the interesting thing. So this whole thing is integrated together. So if I unscrew this, you'll see that here's the basket. And the basket is and then this is the thermal cup. The basket is a metal mesh filter. Right? Mesh filter here, conical. Right? You can see the cone shape here. And then if we go down, you can kind of see into the filter. So it's not, you don't have full exposure to the mesh. There is some parts that are, you know, the framing. I guess that's for structural rigidity. Maybe to cut down costs, because then now you don't have to form the metal into a cone. I'm not sure. But it'll hold this will hold a fair amount. Then the actual top part here is the grinder. So you just pop this out and then you can adjust the grinder just as you would most of these hand grinders. You unscrew this and then you lift this up so that it's out of the notch, and then you can adjust this rotating thing here to the grind setting that you want, and then you put the notcher back in and then screw it back down. I think this should be at a good, what do you call it? A good setting for what we're doing here. As you can see, look, it's actually a conical burr set, very small, right? It's not huge, but one of the things to keep in mind when you're talking about travel is that travel is a little bit about compromise. Like, you could be like my mentor and bring like a big Zaxxon house and all this gear and like have everything that you'd want to have. Or you can go for like smaller, compact stuff, and you just have to make a little bit of compromise. So is this the biggest burrs you can get? No. You can get bigger burrs. You can buy a Comandante and spend, what, $350 for the bigger burr set and the bigger grinder. But that's only the grinder. This is all in one. Which, you know, if I'm forced to have to get into something, I kind of like that better. All right, okay, so let's get to it. Baldhead says, not that I travel anymore, but I have an AeroPress Go and I have a grinder that fits inside. Oh, yeah. Like the Porlex are like that. The Go fits inside a very small Bonavita travel. Perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. So we're going to take this. We're going to put this in here, right? We just screw this on top. And today we're going to go back to our Peruvian. We're going to do the regular brew, 24 grams. Now, in the field, you could probably just eyeball a lot of this stuff. And actually, like I mentioned, for me in the field, if I was bringing something to brew with, I'd probably go more with the Kalita Tall and a bag of ground coffee, just so that I have less. Like, I'm really all about like less when I travel. All right, so we're going to take this coffee, and you just pour the grinds, the coffee beans, down into this area. Oh, maybe it won't fit. And then you just grind. I'll put this down so I get a little more leverage. Just to note, you're watching me do something that I absolutely abhor doing. I hate hand grinding coffee. I hate hand grinders overall. But you know what? For the sake of our videos, we shall persevere. One of my friends did have, I forgot who it was, but one of my friends had a really nice technique that he used while hand grinding coffee like this. I think what might make it a little bit easier is if this was a bigger, this part here, it rotates. It's on a swivel or whatever you call it. It's on a, but it is a little bit small. However, that's to be expected since we have to find ways to make it as compact as possible. So it probably is difficult to put a larger handle on it. Baldhead said, I should have gone for the dark roast to make the grinding easier. I should have. Luckily, it's not green coffee we're grinding. All right, but that's not too bad. We're going pretty fast. We're almost done. It's almost gone. All right, there it is. All right, all done. Nice, nice. Okay, not bad, not bad. I'm not too winded. I'm not too sweaty yet. Okay, let's have a look here. So there it is. They're all of our. So it holds all the coffee we would want. I'm gonna level it out. Now you can do this. You don't have to do this. But since we do have the scale available, let's do this brewing with the scale. We'll just pump up the heat a little bit. This way we can actually, see how much coffee we're using or how much water we're going to add so that we can at least have some kind of baseline comparison with the other brews that we've done in the past. And again, this is the Peru Trudeau Pumpa that we've been using for the last couple weeks. All right, let's have a look. Zoom in a little more there, maximum zoom. Now, I must say that I do like this device. Like Cafflano, I think they make interesting stuff. And I've got a couple more Cafflano products that we're going to be showing you over the next couple weeks or so. Kind of fun stuff. Unique and fun. Like there's this one thing where they were talking about have this kind of like an espresso maker, but you use it to make espresso cold brew. And I'm surprised at how pretty decent it was. I was like, all right. Eric says, my traveling is more road trips, and I drink the gas station coffee and add a little flavors together. I get it. It serves a purpose. I have a one espresso ZP6. Oh, I have not tried that yet. One of the things I was really impressed with this past year is the Flare 58. Like we did a video last summer about the Flare 58, and it worked well. But I'm working on the video now that shows this. It was supposed to be released on Saturday, but I didn't finish it. Probably release it this coming Saturday. And I went to a place called Wan Coffee Roasters in Bangkok, Thailand, and had probably what was so far the best espresso I've ever had in my entire career. And it was made on the Flare 58. And I was like, dude, what is going on with your Flare 58 here? All right, so let's get to the brewing part. We get a little bit of boiling. I'm going to pour that in here. Now, if I was doing this in a hotel, I would simply just use the hotel's kettle. Oh, that's right. That's supposed to be our pouring. So that protects our fingers. We can hold it. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's pre-wet. Not terribly controlled as far as the way that it pumps out of the spout, but you know what? Not bad. Put that there so you can see it. Just about now, the heat of the water is starting to come through the plastic of the pouring kettle here. So it is a little bit, you will get a little bit of heat. It's not burning my fingers or anything. All right, so we're 57 and we're only 76, so we can go a little bit faster. We want to be closer to like 100. Okay, we're going to use this point as our float point for the water level. We'll try to keep it around right around there for the rest of the brew. It is getting hot, and I'm also kind of running out. This is kind of clever, I gotta say. The grind may be a little bit on the fine side because it looks like we're having a bit of slow, flow through the coffee. So 2 minutes, 149. We are a bit slow. Normally we're right around 200. Okay, well, that's not a good thing. All right, let's continue. A little bit sloppy, a little bit difficult to hold. It's getting warmer. Not that I dropped it because it's warm, just like I dropped it because I kind of lost grip on it. So it's not, you don't get the positive hold that you would have with a kettle, right? So this is going to be a little bit slow based on the time and the quantity of water, because we're now at 3 minutes. We really should be close to 300. But even if I put in close to 300, my grind is still probably too fine for this coffee. I should have gone coarser. So, and that's the thing. So, like, I think that coffee is something that you're always constantly going to be adjusting. Like in a professional environment, we're making coffee constantly, and so as a barista working a bar, you're going to be making your adjustments. So hopefully, if you're good, you're paying attention to what's happening, and you're going to make adjustments to your parameters as you go because you're seeing how it's happening. You're seeing that, okay, this cup is running a little bit slower. Maybe I need to go a little bit coarser on the grind. Really, I try to break it down so that all the variables are controlled except for the grind, right? So that when you go to make changes, it should be one variable that you're changing. And I like to have the grind as the variable that we adjust. Okay, so we are past 4 minutes. We're at 246, so we are definitely behind the curve. I'm going to power it up a little bit more and see if we can get a little more weight pressure in there to hopefully encourage it to go a little bit faster. And so, like I'm saying, so as you brew one like this one, I'm brewing this one, and we're now 435, 315. We're way over the mark. So the next time I brew, I'm going to want to coarsen it up. So I want this to come out a little bit more. So let's see if I'm going to pull this off. It's better just to take it off completely. And then I can rotate this out so that I get a little more. Gosh, that looks so far out, but I guess that's all right. And we'll put this back on. Put it all back together, and that'll be good for the next time. And we're 5 minutes, so that looked like a really big adjustment on my part, but we're still at 5 minutes, 3:15. So now, of course, in a commercial setting or in a professional setting, you don't want to have this kind of like offset. I mean, this may be where you start in the morning. You'll try it out, make sure. But typically, as you're working with it, you've reached a point where your equipment is very very close to calibration if it's not already on. So like each like with even with like when we're working with the compact here in the cafe, you know, like our adjustments are really kind of minor because the setting is already pretty close. Where this one I haven't used in like at least probably 3 years. So who knows what we did with it last time? And I don't use this on a regular basis. So, but if you're using something on a regular basis, you're going to be able to make minor adjustments as you go that brings everything a lot closer, a lot faster, without this much of a separation. Like now we're 6 minutes, 30 seconds. We're still not finished. We are way over the mark. So yeah, we'll get there. You know what? Maybe we'll just stop. Just too much. We'll just go a little bit less, right? I'll put that over here. Let that drain. Stop that. And as you can see, the coffee mug is insulated, so it's going to be hot. Like it was actually pretty chilly because here at the roastery, we have gas heaters, but I don't really turn them on too high overnight, especially in the cold weather, so we save some money. So it's a bit chilly. So it was a bit chilly when we put this when we started with this. Of course, now there's heat, and I wanted to use that chill to help bring down the temperature because the thermal carafe is going to hold that temperature a lot more than the typical glass or mugs, the porcelain mugs we would use. Actually, it feels pretty hot, so I'm a little bit nervous to try it. Actually, there's some brightness to it. Not as bitter as some of the brews we've made with this coffee over the last week or so. There's still that bitterness on there, but it's not as pronounced as it has been in some of them. You can see in here it looks really dark because there's so much volume, and it's of course non-translucent. But it's actually kind of enjoyable. It does give me pleasure when I can say that about my own coffee. Well, let's let this cool down a little bit, and we'll come back in a moment to see how it performs or how it may have changed. But let me kind of made a little bit of a mess here. One of the keys to working as a professional barista is that you want to be able to keep your station clean. This towel is not very absorbent. But anyway, so just thought I'd share with you. I got a delivery today. I thought I'd share with you this delivery. Came in from Amazon. I actually don't really remember what I bought. But basically, like, because, you know, I'm one of these guys that doesn't do Amazon Prime. Like, I refuse to do Amazon Prime. I don't buy a tremendous amount on Amazon. So, you know, spending $150 a year, it doesn't make sense much for me, right? And, you know, I'm also the kind of person that, like, I'm a bit cheap. I'm a bit cheap, right? So unless I absolutely, utterly, desperately need it, which is something that I normally will go and work with, like, local providers for, I try to find things that I'm not going to be desperate for. And so these typically stuff that I buy are not desperate buys. So I can wait. So if you spend $35 with Amazon, they'll give you free shipping. Takes about 3 to 5 days, but I'm all right with that. I'm all right. All right, let's have a look here. This is our box. I'm not really sure what's inside. Oh yeah. So this is a power supply for one of the cameras here in the studio. This is a USB A to USB micro cable. This is what I'll use to power give power to that camera, to another camera. And then, yeah, that's right. This is a book that I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Dave Arnold's Food Ideas podcast. And he had this guy on as a guest, J.J. Johnson. And they were talking about it. And they were like, oh, it's the simple art of rice. And I was like, the simple art of rice. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, I would be skeptical. I would automatically be skeptical about buying a book about rice. But then I was like, well, you know what? How would I know everything about rice? I certainly can't know anything about rice. So but what they talked about in the podcast, why in the world is this so difficult to remember? What they talked about in the podcast was that there was a lot of nice and interesting stuff in this book. There we go. And Eric says that Amazon Prime in Mexico is about 800 pesos a year, 40 years. That's okay. So that's not bad. That's worth it. Actually, I'm curious. In Mexico, 800 pesos for, let's say, the average worker in Mexico, right? Is that a lot of money? Like I don't know. I think that $150 like brings pause to my mind. I know a lot of people it doesn't, but for me, I'm like, well, that seems like a lot. If you're a regular person in Mexico working, not an expat with dollars, is that a lot? I'm curious to know. And what are you? You're not in Mexico City, right, Eric? You're somewhere outside, maybe like San Miguel Allende. Is that right? But anyway, so the book, Simple Art of Rice, seems like an interesting book. I guess we'll look now and see. You know, the truth of the matter is I probably should not be buying more cookbooks or books on cooking because I really do have quite an extensive Israeli rice, Chinese. So that's what I remember. He was like talking about, wakaye. You know, he had all kinds of rice recipes from all over the world. Like wakaye, that's really interesting to see. I mean, I'm going to have to go through this really deeper. Laotian sticky rice. All right, this helps. This will help. All right, excellent. All right, so there it is. Think about that. If you're interested in rice, it actually looks really good. The interview sounded great, and I was like, that's why I really was like going to buy it. And then now that I have it in hand, okay, worth it, totally worth it. Baldhead says it's $71.68 US in Canada for a year. However, our Prime Video is nowhere near as extensive as. Yeah, but you see, here's the. I don't really care about Prime. I don't care about video. I'm like, I just want to. But it's like, okay, I gotta say, you know, if you like, my sister-in-law has it. Actually, most of my family has it. I just won't buy it, and probably I won't buy it because my family does have it. So on the occasion that I'll have like a small item that I really need that I don't want to wait, because what I'll do is I'll see something I think is cool that I would like to buy at some point, and I'll save the cart, put it in the cart, and just let the cart stack up. And then when it comes time to buy, I'm like, okay, do I really want that? Okay, no, delete that, or maybe save that for later. I'm not gonna spend the money on that right now. And then eventually I'll buy some. But if I really need something that quick, that I really need, then I will call my sister and I'll be like, hey, can you buy this for me? And then she'll always like buy it, and then I'll pay her back later that day, and I'll have it the next day. Yeah, I don't know. Eric said it's more than most earn in a day. A teacher makes in less than $1,000 per month. Wealthy Mexicans own property for successful business. Okay, yes, you are in San Miguel. Okay, nice. Oh, yeah. I've heard very nice things about San Miguel. Actually, I have a friend of mine, one of our cigar buddies. He's a professor and a very tall black man. Very skinny, tall black man. He lives in San Miguel. He loves it there. I loved it there. He's always like, why don't you come visit? I was like, I don't know. I never get the chance to go there. Like I've been a lot to Mexico City over the years. Love it down there. And I've been to other parts of Mexico. Where have I been? I've been to, of course, when I was young, we went to the Yucatan to go see, Cancun And we saw the Chichen Itza stuff, and then, but that was like when I was in 8th grade, so that was a long time ago. In more recent time, more modern times, I've been to places. I have been to Guadalajara. I've been out to Guerrero, to Zihuatanejo, and then down to on the other side of the country to Veracruz. Lots of times to Mexico City, and then I really would like to go to Oaxaca. That's really, actually, what I'd like to do is I would like to go to Oaxaca to eat, and then go up again to Guadalajara, because I was only there for a day. I went to go visit. I was in Mexico City one year, and I was like, my friend was like, "Come visit us." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna jump on the plane." So I flew up to Guadalajara, hung out for a day, flew back, and then I'd like to go up there, go down to Guadalajara again, and then like really go out and check out the mezcal or the tequila production. That would be kind of interesting. All right, so that's pretty much what we have for you today. What do we haven't done our tasting? Oh, there's a little bit of sweetness. Oh, that's actually really nice. Yeah, nice sweet. That bitterness that we have at the beginning. This coffee is interesting. Like, we get a lot of bitterness at the very beginning, like when it's hot and freshly brewed. But as it cools, that bitterness just kind of dives, and then sweetness takes over. But nutty, a little bit juicy. Well, actually, that's pretty nice. I might have to go toss in a. Oh, I can't. Oh, I gotta stop drinking. I'm supposed to do a blood test today at 1 o'clock, so I have to fast. I can drink this, but I can't eat anything else. I'm glad I thought about that, because I was about to run and go grab a pastry. Okay, so the one thing about tomorrow we will not be able to have a live stream. As I mentioned in the last week, we've come up to the snag on Friday. I mentioned also on Friday, I think. Got to move the roastery. Building has sold, landlord has sold to a new owner, and I received notice Thursday afternoon that we had to be vacated by the end of the year. So I have been on high alert. So I'm actually, it's interesting, because it's a good opportunity for me to document this transition on the channel, right? We can, make videos about the transition or whatever happens. But I've got to do inventory, and I'm planning on selling a bunch of gear. Some of it will be used, but at like ridiculous prices. Hopefully, like $5. Brewers, $5, things like that. But I got to work on that. I got to actually shoot the products and then put them on the on our website. So there's a lot to cover. Eric says it's many hours to the south. I would like to go to Oaxaca, Chiapas, and Veracruz. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like, Veracruz is wonderful. We went to a couple farmers there. Chiapas and Oaxaca, would love to visit that area. I'm working on a trip right now, planning a trip to Nicaragua to visit one of our producers there that we've been working with for many years. Trying to see if it's going to be in February. I'm not sure. But at least that'll give us an opportunity to shoot more video there. Maybe do some live streamings from the farm, depending on how reception is there. But yeah, so again, tomorrow there will be no live stream, because one of my friends, we were talking about partnering up to do a cafe, maybe roastery cafe, and we want to go look for ideas. So we're going to go visit a place called Tate in DC. They're a bigger chain, but I was looking at he mentioned them, and then I was like, I looked them up. I was like, wow, the execution of their product is really, really high. So we're planning to go down to DC to go check that out tomorrow. So that's going to preempt us being able to do a live stream. So the live stream will continue again on Wednesday, and then we'll move forward from there. All right. So thanks, Bald Head. I appreciate that. That's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Got to run and get stuff together. So hope you have a great one, and see you next time, hopefully on Wednesday. All right, Dan. Have a good one, man. Mom, you as well.